thing. I said before we did the startup that I wanted to get it over quick, and here you are dragging it out. Let's go.
You always seem surprised by our signature banter. I don't know how to point it out more often.
It's not good, though.
That you're surprised by the banter? I agree.
The banter's not good. You know that. I caught your little wordplay.
Yeah, his wordplay. You know, I don't know. It seems it's fun, right? But it's not good, right? Mm-hmm. Most of the time, like every once in a while, it's great, but there's people that just use it constantly, and that's what's referred to as dad jokes, right? That's dad jokes are just wordplay. Is that right?
Not a dad, wouldn't know. Can't help you. Refuse to engage in this banter. Let's start the thing.
Hey, and welcome to Heads Up with Jeff and Sean. I'm Jeff.
I'm Sean.
And we're a Star Trek podcast now.
Okay.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We're gonna watch Star Trek episodes. We're gonna talk about it. Okay.
Can I ask why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's pop culture wise. It's almost a blind spot for me. Like I've seen some of it. You know, I've seen all the J.J. Abrams stuff, which is solid. I mean, it's great.
Yeah, it's so solid it might clog the drain when you flush it. Sure.
But you know, I feel like you have a knowledge of Star Trek, and I thought if I watch it and then talk about it with you, it'll help me out, and then I can make all kinds of references to it that no one will get.
Yeah. I mean, I'll get them. You're talking to somebody who owns the next generation technical manual, so.
What? The technical manual? What?
Yeah, a bunch of nerds get together and like you can look at like the blueprints to the ship and like you know, you can learn like what dilithium crystals are and do. They help manage the matter-antimatter reaction to power the ship. Yeah, we're not there yet. That's next gen stuff.
All right.
You said you wanted to start with the original series, which is kind of weird if you're trying to fill in a pop culture hole to start with the show from the 60s, but I guess if you're going to do it thoroughly.
Yeah, I guess pop culture is not really the right term, right? Because pop, I believe, is short for popular culture, right?
Yeah.
So we should be really. If we want to look at pop culture, I think we'd have to do TikTok videos, but I'm not there yet. You know.
Okay.
I guess classic culture. I don't know. I'm not a wordsmith.
All right.
You know.
I'm not gonna fight you on what you call it. It's kind of a weird way to start. That's all.
I thought it would be important to know the original series stuff, right? Because isn't it all in a timeline? Isn't it part of that world?
Yeah, that's another question that maybe we'll have to get into later. You know, what episodes take place in what timeline, and there's a lot of time travel that goes on. Stuff may or may not. We'll get to that's much later.
Right.
But yeah, theoretically, they all happen in this, you know, roughly the same universe to characters who share a time continuum. I'd call it.
Yeah. And they're not a military force, but they seem to have rankings. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
They're modeled after a navy. Yeah, they're modeled after like a navy, but it's not explicitly a military force. So that line gets blurred later in Deep Space Nine.
Oh no. Mm-hmm. They're blurred. Oh jeez.
Well, Deep Space Nine is not. It's not the best series, but it's pretty good. Well, I mean, it's not important. They actually have an episode where they revisit and they go back into like they cut scenes from the original series into it's pretty neat.
They I guess from what little research I've done, they milked this episode for all it's worth. This failed pilot.
Oh yeah, they kind of had to. Star Trek early days, I don't think ever had a real big budget. You know, I don't think you're going to be impressed with the sets you're about to see.
I mean, other than the doors, and I guess and the planet surface, I was pretty impressed.
Okay.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the veins in the aliens' heads were a little off as well. But I mean, I'm watching remastered HD content, so I'm sure if I was watching, you know, the original cut that
Yeah.
I guess didn't come out until VHS. So maybe a VHS standard definition copy, it might have looked stunning. I don't know.
As I said, the original series probably looks a little bit better on like an old 60s tube TV, that's like in one of those cases, got the little switches on the side, changed to, your 3 or 4 channels you had.
Yeah. You can get one built into like a little table thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
One of those. Yeah, it probably would look better there. Yeah.
Yeah. Should I get one for the podcast so I can watch them on that and just?
I think you definitely should. Yeah, I think you should absolutely do that.
Yeah. Because I wasn't really thinking, but I'm pretty sure when I watched it, it was widescreen. I was like, that can't be right.
Yeah.
Right.
They do all sorts of weird shit on the internet when they put the episodes up. You should tell people that we're watching the unaired pilot. You haven't even introduced the way in which you're doing this.
This format of this podcast is new to me.
I'm just saying, it sometimes does seem like you forget other people have to hear this. I mean, it's their choice, but we should create as clear a path to understanding as we can here.
That's all right. I'll do a clean edit point right here. Ready? We're going to be watching.
Did you half-handedly slap your hands together? Okay.
Yeah, it was kind of haphazardly. Yeah.
Yeah.
The clapping.
It didn't sound like a clap, really. It just. Okay. Please go ahead, though. I didn't mean to interrupt. I just wanted to.
All right, one more clean edit point. Ready?
Is that how you clap? Is that just how you clap? It's not very good. I'm sorry. Please continue. I won't do it again.
Yeah. I've been fake clapping now at work for what feels like years. It looks like I'm clapping, but I'm barely making any noise.
Is there a lot of call to clap where you work? Is that
you'd be surprised before the store opens? It's like all they write is applause lines.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds like a nightmare, but
yeah, it is. In this new era of Heads Up, where we're going to be talking Star Trek, we're gonna be watching episodes. We're starting with the original series, as you may have guessed from all that talking, and we're going to start with season 1, episode 0, as it's shown on Paramount Plus, where I saw it. The Cage. How's that?
Yeah.
Really,
that's the episode title. Yeah, and it's
really sets the scene.
Do you know why it's episode 0? I know you already touched on it a bit earlier, but
yes, because NBC ordered the pilot. They watched the pilot and they said, "No, I believe they said it was too cerebral and not action packed enough." And so instead of scrapping the whole idea, they said, "Do another one."
Yeah. They thought it would be too smart for audience. It wasn't.
Yeah.
There wasn't enough action. For the executives.
Yeah, they were used to shows like Bonanza, and Gilligan's Island. So I'm trying to think, because Sean, did you find it cerebral? Did you find it pretty a thinking man's episode?
Yeah, it's a thinker, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a real thinker. Big themes in it.
Do you think maybe in 1965 it was a thinker?
Yeah, maybe, but I mean,
were people in the 60s that what's the word I'm looking for? Dumb?
Yes.
Okay.
I think the cerebral note was probably there's not enough action.
Mm-hmm.
Our leading man has to hit people and kiss women. Like those were the requirements for TV right then.
So would you say like the big-headed aliens were more of a they were more like representing the studio executives, trying to force him to just kiss women and do more action, and he kept refusing, trying to think his way out of it.
Maybe if this had been in reverse, if the first episode they did,
Yeah,
was What was the other pilot? I think the other pilot wasn't the first episode. I think it was became episode
maybe
2 or 3. Yeah, Where No Man Has Gone Before. Yeah. Of course, that's the one. I just don't know if it was aired as the first episode or the third or the fifth. It's one of the odd numbers early on.
Dang.
But
I guess before we start talking about it, should one of us describe the episode?
I'd love it if you did, actually. Yeah, I think you should.
Okay.
This is, I mean, you're shifting like formats abruptly. The first I heard about this was like last week.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And as we know, things are just always rushing forward here at Heads Up. We never stop producing, right?
We're moving at such a fast pace.
What we've got. The reason we haven't put an episode out in a while is that our executives keep saying that the episodes we've been recording are too cerebral. Yeah. So, that's a great excuse.
They want it more action packed. So, here we go.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Here it is. The episode of Star Trek from the 60s that executives then thought didn't have enough action in it. So yes, the cage. Please at least briefly describe.
What happens in the cage. So they're flying in their spaceship, right, through space.
Okay.
And they're coming up against something. They can't figure out what it is. It's traveling pretty fast, and they realize it's a distress signal coming from a planet similar to Earth's atmosphere. And they decide reluctantly to go check it out. And it turns out to be an alien race tricking them so that they can create a slave race using a woman that had already crash landed there years ago, and the captain of the spaceship. But they do so by putting him in a cage and making him live memories and manipulating him into falling for this woman who they explicitly say is 18 years old. And I don't know if these are big starships, and if you're a captain of a huge, I mean, they've got to have the population of major cities at least.
Well, the Enterprise D in The Next Generation is kind of like a flying small city.
Yeah. How many people they fit in the spaceship?
That's a good. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head.
It looked big. Maybe I'm conflating it with the other.
It is. I mean, it is. Yeah, it is big, but the original series, they don't. I mean, the one in The Next Generation is called the Galaxy class starship. That's what that Enterprise is. This one is not that.
Gotcha.
This is a Constitution size. I don't. But yeah, this is smaller.
All right, but I don't think they're letting someone who would be age appropriate to be interested in an 18-year-old run one of these starships. I don't know. Maybe they're really. Maybe it's easier in the future. I don't know. You know what I mean? It just seems inappropriate.
The people who belong to Starfleet, who are members of the Federation, they live in a utopia.
Yeah.
So they learn calculus around like 10 or 11.
Oh, okay.
So, but very unlikely that Pike is also 18. But this is TV.
Sure.
So the lady's got to be white and she's got to be young, and those are the qualifiers. She also has to be, I think, helpless and entirely reliant on a man. From what I understand of 60s television, most of 60s television that I've seen is Star Trek. But.
Well, yeah, because there is the number one he refers to, I believe, is second in command, who is not Spock in the pilot, is also a woman, but he's like, but you're different, because there's another woman that shows up that he's always seems to be annoyed by. The woman that brings the reports,
Yeah. I don't know her name, but she's the yeoman.
Yeah. Is that
the blonde? Sorry.
I tried to look that term up. That pretty much means servant, right?
Yeah. She's like
like in medieval times.
I mean, like kind of. It's more like. I mean, it is like a rank.
Yeah.
But it's a Navy thing. It's
Okay.
rather than like a peasant. It's a Navy class.
Gotcha.
If I recall correctly, what she's doing is yeoman's work. It's
Okay.
like clerical work almost.
Yeah. All right. That's good.
So she's basically the secretary.
Okay.
She's the captain's secretary.
That's good. Now that I know it's like naval based, I'll start looking upwards in relationship to the Navy and see if that helps me.
Yeah, she doesn't like have a plot of land that she has to farm to like tithe to the nobleman that runs the land.
Yeah.
Like no, not so far back as that.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, yeah, this is
Go ahead,
this is
bud.
quite a diverse cast of 3 women and men ranging from ages of, I want to say, 29 to 75, all white.
Now, when you say 75, you're
Yeah.
talking about the doctor.
Yes, yeah, the doctor,
Okay,
yeah,
yeah.
who mixes martinis. It's
Yeah, well, I mean, that's gonna keep showing up.
oh really?
Oh yeah. There's a long tradition. I mean,
Yeah.
again, Starfleet is sort of based on the Navy.
Yeah.
From the '60s.
Yeah.
So there's kind of we're commissioned officers, sort of. We can have a little treat if we want to chill.
Yeah.
So
I assume that also maybe medical technology has advanced so much that being a doctor must be super boring, and you must need to drink to get by. I would assume.
not so.
Okay.
And I don't know if this is true for the original series, but in Next Generation they drink synthahol, which is
Oh.
fake alcohol that doesn't get you drunk.
Then why drink it?
For the taste and the experience, okay? When we see the
Yeah.
series, you'll understand the philosophy better.
As a man that doesn't drink, I guess I don't get the whole experience of drinking. The taste, the profile, of alcohol.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, they're mind control aliens, basically, that can make you see things and believe things. And when they finally, for some reason, decide to look through the ship's logs and look at the history of humans, and then seeing that one of the women is willing to blow up everybody so they just all die instead of being enslaved, they go, I don't think humans will make a good slave race. Just get out of here. And then it's this whole weird thing about the woman who was there originally, Vivian or something.
Vina, I
Vina,
believe,
okay,
but I would have to double
I think
check.
that's right. But where it's like, oh, when she crashed here, they had to fix her up, but they don't know what humans look like, so she's all disfigured and stuff. And so instead of getting back to human civilization and living a free life, she decides that she'd rather, have the illusion that she still looks normal and stay there. And then Captain Pike is like, yeah, that's, you know what, that is true, because they showed me what you really look like, and it's gross. So goodbye forever. You should rot here.
Yeah,
you're right to do
was-
so.
Yeah, extreme. Yeah, the sort of they make it pretty clear. She's this is kind of how women are.
Yeah.
and it's deeply
Oh my God.
misogynistic.
Yeah.
like she'd prefer to just be pretty.
Yeah.
Than have to live the truth of she
Yeah.
doesn't look great.
And there's a part in the movie where like they're fed up that he's not falling for this blonde girl, and so they beam down the 2 women in his crew, and the way they
Yep,
just
the yeoman and number one.
yeah,
Yep.
and the way they describe them is like the number one will breed smart children, and she actually does think of you that way. But the yeoman, I mean, she's younger, and I believe, I don't know the exact wording, but I believe they described her as hornier. So,
Yep. Yeah. Right.
it was good. It was good. It was women have had and continue to have it pretty hard out there. I don't know. It's interesting. This is Gene Roddenberry's idea of the future. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, it's not his singular vision, really. He had to make all sorts of compromises.
Sure. He's not the only writer,
Yeah.
I'm sure. There are 30 episodes a season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but it's sort of his Roddenberry's humanist take on a humanist future. It's when you get into the lore, it's pretty dark because according to the lore of Star Trek, we don't actually become all peaceful and friends until after a brutal World War III, where we basically nuke the planet right up to the edge of oblivion.
Okay.
Yeah, and then we step back from that brink only once we've really, really pushed it.
And you're telling me that's what's going to take to get rid of capitalism.
Well, when you say get rid of, what do you mean? Because we'll meet the Ferengi in The Next Generation, and their introduction isn't great, but they later become more developed as sort of the capitalist empire.
Well, I guess just for the human race and Earth in general to be in that utopia, right?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't lay all of our problems at capitalism's feet. I mean, I don't know that I would say that, but yeah. The utopia of Star Trek is one of it's described as a post-scarcity society.
Oh, that's nice.
So if you need something, the society works together to provide it to you, and you do the same. You participate in society, to provide people with what they need. That's the base level.
I love that.
Yeah, right.
I don't want to get because I wanted to keep this podcast focused on our true mission, which is to just talk about how shitty billionaires are. And greed like that. So, I think Star Trek's a good way to go,
Okay.
We can still shit on Nestle near the end if you want,
there are plenty of opportunities, I guess, to bring in real world things to shit on as well, if you'd like, Jeff.
Okay. All right.
I mean, all right. Art is a creation of its time, so...
True.
Star Trek is, in that way, sort of a criticism of the world in which Roddenberry grew up, and then continuing that, the world in which the other writers and producers grew up.
Is that why people are complaining about Picard, the series?
I wouldn't know. I haven't watched it. I don't watch New Trek. I tried to watch some of it, and what was it? Discovery? Wow. That Discovery is a real stinky piece of shit from what I could tell. I watched the first few episodes, and it was bad.
Now, technically, that takes place before this. Is that right?
I believe Discovery, yes, takes place before the original series. There's also the Picard show, which takes place after all of the what I would consider good Star Trek, which is like The Next Generation, Voyager, Deep Space Nine. And then
Go ahead.
No,
I was going to ask when Lower Decks takes place.
I don't watch that either. That's New Trek. I don't need to see Rick and Morty as Star Trek. It's fucking stupid. It's just fucking stupid. I have no interest in it.
Yeah. Luckily for you, at the pace this podcast comes out and how many episodes of old Trek there are, I don't think we're ever going to run into a scenario where we're going to watch it.
Oh, Jeff, I'm in my late 30s. We might not get through Deep Space Nine. Let's let's see where it takes us. But and also, I mean, are we doing these in release order?
I just wanted to start with this one, and then I figured you knew more about Trek, so we could do it timeline, I guess. If it makes sense.
No,
we're already messed up. We already messed up.
Yeah. So
there's something that happens before this.
Star Trek Enterprise.
In old Trek?
Enterprise with Scott Bakula. And also one of the movies from Next Gen. They go back in time. The Borg go back in time.
What?
To try to stop First Contact.
Yeah, but you can't go back in time until you've already been forward in time.
No, you're wrong. That's wrong.
The premise of the movie would have to happen after this. And then they would have to travel back before this. Am I getting close?
I mean, if we're going to watch it sequentially, chronologically, then we would just start with the scenes where these characters appear back in time.
We would be doing scenes.
I mean, you tell me. I mean, I don't think just watching something in chronological order makes any goddamn sense. You got to watch it in release order.
Yeah.
In order for it to kind of build. So I think probably if we get through all of the original series, that's probably we'll jump to the Next Generation next, and then maybe I think Deep Space Nine first,
Okay.
and then Voyager. But
Okay, but Enterprise happens before this.
yes, Enterprise is about the
God.
first. I want to say Warp 4 or Warp 5 ship that the Starfleet has.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Is that a good series? Damn.
That's a
was
a
what,
big question you just
80s?
asked me. Is Enterprise a good series? Wow, I enjoyed it. Let me. You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to watch it all again, and then I'll have to get back.
Okay,
to it.
okay.
I think it's a better Star Trek than New Trek, but
Yeah. And that was 80s? Because that was like prime Bakula, right?
Enterprise? No, I don't think Enterprise was.
No?
No, I don't think that was in the 80s. I want to say that started probably when I was in high school, maybe. So like early 2000s.
Well, I'll let you decide and tell me what episodes we should be watching.
Were we watching the movies?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, good. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's do
yeah,
it.
that's good. I liked most of
Is
the
it
movies.
Oh,
No, the even odd thing, the good and bad. Have you heard that?
Yeah.
I don't buy into it.
Yes.
I don't.
Okay.
No. I mean, some are better than others, but
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I have seen some movies. I've seen the one with Khan. I've seen the one with Kirstie Alley, which might be the same one. I've seen First Contact with Tom Hardy. Is that First Contact?
with Tom Hardy,
Oh, Nemesis is the
who
one I'm thinking of. Star Trek Nemesis. He plays the other Picard.
Oh, the actor. Okay. I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about a
sorry,
character's
yeah.
name. I don't know.
You're like, what rank is this Tom Hardy?
This Tom Hardy. I don't think I know. Was he is he command crew? Was he a side character? Does he belong to Starfleet at all, Jeff? This doesn't make sense to me.
He's angry. He's an angry boy. I didn't know Picard had that in him. You know. You tell me at the end of the episode what episode we're watching next or movie we're watching next, and we'll do that. And then, we'll get through it. I'll learn more about Star Trek than I've ever wanted to know.
Well, yeah.
I'll have the references. Then, yeah.
So, I mean, just to give you a heads up, I mean, like, if this is episode 0, the next episode we watch would be episode 1 of the original series. And then they count up. So we can just watch them in the order that they're numbered. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I thought you started talking about the time travel and then Scott Bakula, and I'm not gonna lie, I got confused.
Yeah.
I got a little worried.
Yeah, that's why you watch it in release order, and then it builds the story. You see it as the original viewers saw it, and everything makes a lot more sense. So when they do callbacks, or you go back in time and see something, or someone comes from the past.
Yeah, I understand you're upset about a personal matter between us.
No, I'm not upset. I just think that if you're going to watch a series of films, for example, that you should, instead of starting with, say, prequels or sequels, you would start with, I don't know, an original trilogy, and then, watch maybe the prequels and the order they came out. That's okay.
I'm just saying, if you have a visionary creator and they make a series of films and they start the number higher than 1, and then they spend their own money and they make the movies preceding that to tell that full story later on, once they have that full vision, to not watch it in that order is a disservice to their vision. And that's outside of your enjoyment, I guess.
And what visionary is this? Because I know it's not George Lucas, because I saw the prequels and they're flat out bad.
The Star Wars prequels are bad, yes. But, he created a $1 billion industry.
That's all that matters to you. Interesting. How big his paycheck is. How much money he gets from it. Interesting.
People seem to like his movies originally, in the late 70s, early 80s, and then he's like, now that I have all this freedom, creative freedom, I want to tell the story from the beginning, and and to have an opportunity to see it that way through people's eyes, I thought would be a great opportunity for us.
Yeah, but then you saw the trilogy and you were like, oof, this is what creative freedom gets you, huh? I think maybe...
I knew those movies were bad, okay? I knew they were bad. I thought we should have a whole scope of them, okay? I thought we should have perspective.
Yeah.
I thought it would make sense, okay? And we're getting to the original Star Wars movies. What about Star Trek versus Star Wars movies? The first three, Episode 4, 5, and 6, versus the first three Star Trek movies. Which do you enjoy more?
Can't compare them.
Oh, why not?
Because Star Trek isn't just movies, which is what Star Wars was. So if you're like, you would just get dumped into the movies and they wouldn't really kind of catch you up to date on who any of these people are or what their relationships with each other are. They kind of have they just kind of like, you already know, if you're coming to see a Star Trek movie, you've already seen the shows, you know? Whereas Star Wars is they just kind of throw you into it with, you know, a bunch of old men in robes slapping at each other with light sticks or whatever. So...
Yeah, using mysticism. Yeah. So is Disney trying to fix Star Wars' mistakes by making TV shows that you're going to have to understand when you watch these movies?
I don't know. I haven't seen any of the Star Wars TV shows. I hear some of them are good. I don't know. Star Wars doesn't... I don't know. Their universe seems really small for how grand it is.
They've only followed one family for
50
years.
Yeah. I wonder how Luke Skywalker's is he in one of the shows? Doesn't he show up in the Baby Yoda show?
He does show up in the Baby Yoda show, and he's in the Boba Fett show briefly.
How?
I'm sure he'll be in the.
Isn't that actor really old?
He is really old. They did deep fakes, I believe.
Ooh.
Younged him up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I bet that looks great. Yeah, see, like, even now, it's like, it's been what? How long has it been since those movies came out? Like 77 was the first one? Is that true?
I think so, yeah.
So it's been more than 40 years, and they still haven't gotten beyond Luke Skywalker, whose narrative arc was completed in three movies.
That's true.
Pathetic.
I mean...
Pathetic.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah. He's more of a means to an end, I think, in these movies. He's not really a big character, but...
Yeah, he's
definitely
still
there.
there. Now, granted, Star Trek has now done the same thing by having Picard, like, staggering around, and some old man... never knows, like, he always looks like he's confused about where he is. It seems like someone should step in, is what I see when I see advertisements for Picard. I'm like, come on. Come on. This ain't right. Let him retire.
Let
him go eat soup somewhere in the sunlight. You know, it's time.
Yeah, he's been around the universe or galaxy. Do they go out of galaxies?
Well,
how far out in space do they make it?
Well, when you see Where No Man Has Gone Before from the original series, I think you'll see.
Yeah.
I think you'll find out.
Okay. All right.
You'll learn about a little thing that in Star Trek we call the galactic barrier. You'll see. You'll find out.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Anyway, I'm not old. It's
Galactic
all the
barrier.
new media that sucks. So.
Yeah. You're still with it.
Yeah, I'm still hip. I know it's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just kids these days want they want all flashing lights. They don't want excellent, well thought out speeches where, different alien races debate their different viewpoints and philosophies and find out that they have a little common ground they can, kind of work together with.
Yeah.
I don't even know. I mean, is this even the episode where we talk about the cage?
I don't know.
We just talked for a long time about Star Wars and not the cage this episode that we just...
Yeah. I mean, Star Wars, it's hard not to mention it, when you're talking about sci-fi stuff.
Star Wars isn't sci-fi. Continue.
Well, is that because it happens a long time ago and there's mysticism?
No, it's because it doesn't focus on the science of these things. Science fiction focuses on the science and how it's used. So Star Trek is very much, for the most part, science fiction.
Mm-hmm. Are you telling me that Star Wars is just fantasy, not sci-fi?
Well, the term for it was probably science fantasy, which is the melding of science fiction and fantasy.
Mm-hmm.
So while it has the trappings of science fiction, like laser swords and blasters and spaceships, it is actually much more a mystical story of, the chosen boy comes into his own and kills the bad guy.
Damn it.
Yeah.
There's all these new terms I got to learn. What about Dune then? Is that science fantasy?
So I haven't seen the movie. Dune is probably closer to science fantasy than science fiction, yes.
Damn. I'm trying to think of what science fiction I've actually seen then.
Star Trek now. There's not. Yeah. So the other thing with genres aren't clearly, like, this is not a clear line in the sand, because
sure.
Dune has like the spice. What is that, melange?
Mm-hmm.
So that the people who pilot their ships can see through space or whatever. Like,
isn't that like weird aliens?
That's nonsense. But like taking drugs can alter your perception. That's scientific. That's fact. But does it help you dodge planets when you're flying through space? Probably not. So there's like it's tough.
And then there's like a hidden society of witches that get involved in politics. So I'm pretty sure that's magic, right? Because he's got...
Yeah, so...
The chosen one is, like, weird.
Something, I think, in Dune and Star Trek... Actually, not... I guess this episode is helping you learn terms and genres. Yeah. That's fine.
We shouldn't have started with an episode. You should have told me what Star Trek is versus other stuff that I know.
Well, so in Dune, I think, if I recall correctly, that like, group of women... So like they have like weird psychic powers, and there are Betazoids in Star Trek who also have psychic powers, but they're aliens. In Dune, I think part of what those women are doing is like manipulating marriages to create a genetic line to get their chosen one, right? They think he has like some specific heritage that they're trying to encourage. Essentially,
because she was supposed to give birth to a daughter. And they're mad about that because the king wanted a son, and somehow the witch was in control of that. I don't know.
Yes, but the lady slept with some other guy. I think.
What?
Something. Well, that might be a spoiler, but the books are from a long time ago, and if you read books, you'd know.
Yeah, that's true. I'm trying to start reading books, but they're so boring.
Yeah, you're out of your mind. That's insane. This may sound odd from somebody who's recording and editing a podcast, but I don't want to hear my own voice tell a story. I don't want it. I don't need it. I don't
enjoy it.
Well, you don't have to. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I feel you. But yeah, I've seen 2 Dune movies now. One actually told a complete story, but not all of Dune, because Dune, I believe, is several books.
Yep.
And the newer one just told like a third of the first book, which is disappointing. But yeah, so I don't really know that much about Dune either, but it feels more into this new word I've learned, a new term I've learned called science fantasy.
Yeah. Maybe it is. I don't know. Like I said, I haven't really engaged with the Dune. I read the books when I was a kid, basically, and I put them down, and I was like, that was a good series. All right. There's so many other books to read.
Yeah.
Better get going.
They gave a man the last name Idaho. I don't like that.
Duncan Idaho. Is that character's name?
I believe his first name's Duncan. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Terrible name.
It's pretty funny.
It's a fucking terrible
name. It's pretty
name.
funny. That's the other piece too, is that, like, some of it you can't take seriously.
Yeah. That's true. I'm trying to watch it because I think I tried to watch the original series once before, and I didn't make it very far in. But I think there was just streaming was really coming up, and there was a lot of content to watch. And not that there's less content to watch now, but I think I can view it through a different lens now. I'll try to take it as 60s content and try to appreciate it.
Yeah, a lot of these early episodes are not what I would say good. I mean, I have a deep love for Star Trek, but I came to it from The Next Generation.
Okay.
And the original series...
So you watched it...
Go ahead.
You watched The Next Generation first and then went back.
Yeah, I think my dad was into it when I was a kid. So he would just have it on sometimes.
Dang.
So I started there, and it was like, yeah, this is cool. This is a great show.
All right. So then when I have questions about alien races or society, you'll be able to handle most of them, I would assume.
I'll say some. I don't want to talk myself up too much. I haven't memorized all sorts of information. I don't speak Klingon, but...
Oof. Yeah.
I could try to help you out.
Okay. That's good. Trying to think of actual sci-fi stuff that I've seen then. I don't know.
I mean, it doesn't...
The Alien movies?
Yeah. Those are science... Yes, those are very science fiction.
Okay.
Here's it's not that all the stuff in it has to be real. It just has to be kind of how do these people, how might science influence how we act? And in those, right, that weird company, those movies are essentially about a billionaire who wants to live forever, right? He's like sending this ship out to try to investigate this creature that... did a ship go out before? I haven't seen Alien in a long time.
I can't remember. What did Paul Reiser say? That movie.
They know something about the alien, and
yeah.
And he's like, oh yeah, we need to learn more about this or whatever. Like the guy, Wayland something Foundation.
Yeah, because they trick her in the second one to be like, we're gonna kill it, right? And they're like, oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And they're like, no, we need to bring it back.
Yeah.
And she's like, you're out of your fucking mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
So I'm sure they're studying it. Okay.
Yeah, so like the motivations there are very, science fiction. Is the world as we know it is run by corporations that are beholden to no law, This is crazy.
Can you imagine what that would be like?
Yeah, I know. These people putting profits over human lives. We're back, Jeff! Anyway, preaching to the choir.
It's their money. They earned it.
Yeah, of course. Preaching to the choir with their two listeners.
Yeah. The Terminator series, that's science fiction, right?
As is RoboCop. RoboCop might be a better example. But yes, Terminator as well. Okay. Terminator sort of proposing hey, technology isn't good. Artificial intelligence is kind of bad if you let it make its own decisions. There's no guarantee that it will like us. And RoboCop making the other, we shouldn't let a corporation run a police department because look what they do when they can. They take the corpses of police officers and turn them into robots that obey them.
Yeah.
So yes, you have seen science fiction. Yeah,
I've got to rewatch RoboCop. It's been too long.
Oh, the 80s one is so fucking good. That's a great movie.
So good. Okay. All right. I've just learning new terms just got me sidetracked. Okay. All right. Here we go. Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah.
See, without segments, I don't know when to do what. Oh,
this is good. We can feel it out. So the first segment is explain the episode, right? We've done that.
Sure.
They investigate a distress signal. They find a bunch of people. It turns out only one of those people from there is real, the young lady. They want to keep the captain and use him to breed with the young lady to create a strong, powerful slave race. In part because the big-brained aliens can't really reproduce. They're having population troubles that, one of them mentions.
They can't even rebuild their own technology.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Yeah.
Yeah.
They were forced underground after ruining the planet.
Yes. Yep.
Much like Planet of the Apes. That's sci-fi, right?
Yes. Yes, it is.
This will we'll tidy this. We'll tighten this up. It'll become a segment. It'll be like, is this sci-fi? And I'll ask you about different properties, and you can tell me if it's sci-fi.
I like it. Planet of the Apes, I think, is much more racist propaganda than sci-fi. But yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Especially with Charlton Heston in the lead.
Yeah, but they do have some like when like he can talk, and they're the apes are all like, oh my god, he can talk, and he starts. Is this? Yeah, it must be. It's in the later ones that they reveal that there's like the ruined society. Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but they also have psychic powers underneath there. But they're worshiping a nuclear bomb.
That was a big like Silver Age sci-fi thing. That humans just had nuclear bombs and that humans had psychic powers or would develop them. Everyone was in on that.
And that they would live underground? Oh, yeah.
Maybe. I think that goes hand in hand with the nuclear winter fears from the Cold War.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. The big conspiracy in the Planet of the Apes because you can see some people have lobotomies. Mm-hmm. And so he knows, there's a cover-up. Dr. Zaius. All right, okay. I'm going to rewatch RoboCop. I'm going to rewatch Planet of the Apes. I'm going to continue to watch Star Trek. This is amazing. I keep forgetting that they updated Planet of the Apes with James Franco because I watched that first one and I thought it was okay, but then I forgot to watch the other ones.
Yeah. I did forget about that. James Franco. Forgettable performance, as always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see any of the updated Planet of the Apes?
I saw the first one, where
me too.
For some reason, he just gets to keep this erratic ape in his attic, and it's like running out into the street and like harassing people.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like it would happen. But
yeah.
Someone would have shot it. Someone would have shot it.
Yeah. And don't they have like a lab where in the middle is basically a terrarium where a bunch of different kinds of primates are just chilling together?
Yes, I remember that too. And then they help each other escape or something?
Yeah. I think so. Yeah, because the smart gas gets leaked or something. I don't know. But, yeah, so, yeah, okay. I'm going to do RoboCop first, then the original Planet of the Apes, then the new ones. I got stuff to do. And Star Trek in between.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
There's just what a time to be alive.
It is a time to be alive, that's for sure.
Yeah.
That's for sure.
So when do you start learning in the Star Trek series about how their society is run?
They'll talk about it a couple times in the original series. I don't remember exact episode.
Okay.
But
we will get to it in this series.
Yeah. It won't be like strictly laid out. Like here's how. I mean, there are a lot of on the some of the Star Trek forums I visit. There's still a question of how does such a society function? Like, do they have anything that resembles money? What happens when they encounter the Ferengi, who actually do have the concept and still use the concept of money? What is gold pressed latinum, and why is it so precious? It can't be replicated as part of the answer, but they'll address things like
they can't replicate it.
Yeah, they'll address things in the original series like, why don't we just show up and use our phasers to destroy anybody who opposes us? Like, why aren't if you're flying in a ship that could devastate a planet, why don't you do that when people stand up to you and say, "Get the fuck out of here"?
That has something to do with the Prime Directive, right?
In part, yeah.
Okay.
I think in the original series they bring it up sort of what is the philosophy of humanity now.
Okay.
Why are we out? Like, we're not out here to conquer and stuff. But you'll get to that. You'll hear it from James T. Kirk's mouth himself. So.
Oh. Okay. All right. Do you ever bring up to people in those forums though that money actually isn't real?
So I'm more of a forum reader than commenter for the most part with Star Trek. All right.
Okay.
It's not worth really getting down in the mud and slinging it around with these folks.
Yeah. Fighting with someone on the internet's not really satisfying, I don't think.
I agree.
can you rank this episode if it was like a 1 to 10?
This one's not a 1 to 10. I wouldn't be able to rank it. This one's not a great example of what Star Trek is capable of, I don't think. Although, I mean, if I'm ranking it as what is a great example of what Star Trek is capable of, none of the original series might make the cut. But, because, just the inherent cultural differences from the 60s to now.
Yeah.
A lot of the sexism.
It was, progressive for its time.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, Star Trek notably has the first on-screen interracial kiss. In the original series that's coming up at some point, so
dang,
it has a lot. I would say, though, as a whole, it probably has a lot more problems than it has notable landmarks like that. So,
yeah, because they're always like, "Oh, Gene Roddenberry, is a forward thinker and all that stuff," and then you just the way they portrayed women in this episode, I was like, "Wow, okay," but I mean, that's also the way women were portrayed in their time, so
yeah, a lot of the media of that time took the same took the same tack, which is not ideal. I mean, even in the Next Generation and sometimes a little bit later, like the '90s, also surprisingly still not great to women in media.
Luckily, we solved all that.
Oh, definitely. I'm sure Discovery and Picard have a lot of just women mowing people down with machine guns, and then they'll go, "I'm a girl boss." And then everything's fixed. They fixed it.
Girl boss. I love that term.
Jeff, women can manipulate workers and take advantage of lower classes too. Girl boss.
So it was an hour long, but it really was quite simple. What would you think of I love the sounds in Star Trek.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of weird noises. The teleporter sound is fantastic.
Yeah.
You can find
the lasers.
Oh yeah. Anytime anybody shoots anything.
Even like the door noise. I mean, they nailed it in sound design.
There are like YouTube videos where it's just like the background noise for being on the ship. That like they just loop it for like 10 hours. You can just be like, yeah, you just play this background music. It's like you're on the Enterprise.
That's awesome.
It's a little weird. I'd say.
All right, how about this? I'll do a Star Trek pitch.
Oh yes,
every episode.
Yes, I'd like this. What, like, if maybe it could be sequel or prequel, and how would you lead into or lead out of this episode? I don't know. Or like how would you either change this episode or create something new? That sounds great.
All right. Are you familiar at least with the idea of M. Night Shyamalan's The Village?
Oh, well, just talking about an M. Night Shyamalan movie bored me. There's a village. Yeah. And the movie is shot as though the village is like medieval times, but it's not. Somebody sees a plane and then they leave and it's the modern day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that goes on for like 2 hours?
I never saw it.
Okay. Okay, well, hold on. Are you familiar with the M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Village?
I thought so, but I wanted some confirmation about what it was.
Well, why would you come to me for confirmation about what a movie is?
You did it.
You don't know that. You have no idea. Oh my god.
But that's what I want to do. What if there's like a small community that we follow that's like 20th century, and then by the end you find out that they're actually living on a big Star Trek cruiser, but somebody had manipulated them or kept them, I don't know, near a holodeck. I don't know what that is really.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say, it's almost like maybe if you beamed them to the holodeck and used the holodeck as a perfect recreation of their world to try to prevent them from realizing you're taking them from one planet to another to save them.
Did that's already happened in Star Trek?
I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil
right.
it.
All right. Damn.
Good idea, though,
Okay,
right?
okay.
I mean,
All right.
you could make Star Trek, and it'd be better than Discovery or Picard.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Or the animated one that's like Rick and Morty, but not.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, some of the voice actors on there, I'm like, oh, I like those voice actors, but then I was like, I don't know.
Jeff,
Just it seems like a lot.
wouldn't it be funny if a Klingon said shit and fuck? This.
What if they they were like in space, right? But they didn't take it as that seriously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like everyone in Star Trek takes it so serious.
This guy has to mop up the cum from the holodeck. That's what it's really like.
This guy didn't clear his holodeck history. Look at how gross and disgusting he is.
I'm glad I don't have to watch New Trek. I'm glad.
All right. How about they go to a planet where all of the vegetables eat animals, and not the other way around.
Okay.
And then there's a lesson in there about something.
Okay.
And I don't know. You know what? Writing Star Trek is hard.
Is it?
It is.
You had a good theory, I think, that, vegetables eat animals.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really essentially, you could write for the original series Star Trek, definitely. You could just be like,
That's true.
this planet is topsy-turvy. Vegetables eat animals.
Yeah. Okay, you know what? You're right. That has to be a reveal, right?
Yes,
so
exactly.
Maybe it's like
thank you.
it's like an unknown alien force or something, and they're trying to help these creatures on this planet. Mm-hmm. It turns out that it was the vegetables all along.
Yeah.
And they know that. Well, do they eat vegetables? Like in Star Trek, if they're creating if they're beaming down to a planet and they're going to be there, maybe they think a day. Like, do they pack lunches?
Yeah.
Or do they
pack
protein bars?
Do they pack little lunches? So I don't know that they get to this until the Next Generation. Yeah. I think probably Riker.
Okay.
Riker mentions it, I think. I don't want to get too specific.
Yeah.
But they talk about how they don't slaughter animals for food anymore because they can replicate meat.
Replicate.
Yep. So they are essentially vegans. Like this whole society is like, well, we'll just replicate some meat. It's not real meat. So
yeah.
But if if they're just going to be there for a day, they pack some lunches for themselves, yes. But
well, I guess what I'm saying is like maybe they're talking to the creatures, right? And then one of them pulls out his little sack lunch, and he pulls out like a piece of broccoli or something, and the creature's like, "Oh my, fuck, get that out of here," you know? Mm-hmm. Because on their planet, the broccoli eats them.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, you might. Yeah.
And then what those creatures eat, I don't know, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That would be tough. That would be tough for them. It's a start. Yeah. Yep. You might want to
Colonel
kind of gussy it up a little, right?
Yeah. Writing is rewriting, so
yeah.
Get it out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Write it again.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. But that hasn't been done before on Star Trek.
That specifically, no, I don't believe so.
Yeah. Fucking nailed it in two. Eventually, I don't know. Eventually, when we find an alien race that's interesting, I want you to explain them to me. But these ones, there was nothing.
Yeah, they just had
they just had big heads.
Yeah, well, if you're expecting to be blown away by the aliens in the original series, you're going to be very disappointed. But
we get cribbles, right? Is that what it is? A cribble?
Tribbles?
Yeah.
With a T? Yes.
Tribbles.
Yeah.
And they're just gonna, they just like coo and are furry, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about them?
I was just trying to figure out what creatures we're gonna see in the original series.
Okay.
That I would know. And I didn't even know triples because I was calling them cribbles.
That's true. Yeah, I mean you'll see Klingons and Romulans, I believe. Yeah, Vulcans.
Oh, we'll see Romulans.
Well, you've already seen
Vulcans. We already saw.
You saw half Vulcan. Spock's half Vulcan. It's not.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. You'll get some of them.
Yeah, he comes to terms with that. If what J.J. Abrams told me is to be believed.
It's not. But yeah, it's not really. Well, you'll see. I don't want to.
Yeah.
Spoilers. No. You're not going to see in the original series. You're not going to see Spock screaming as he punches a man in the face to death on top of a spaceship that's flying through the like. You're not going to see that.
His emotions run deep.
Okay.
Are we going to see him beat up a kid in school for being because the kid bullied him?
Nope. And then you're also not going to see the Vulcans racistly be like, it's because he's half human. He can't help it because he's a dirty, filthy human. Like, nope, you're not going to see that either. That's not really. Nope.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's all the stuff I liked about the Vulcans. I don't know, but they are related to Romulans. Is that right?
Yeah.
Kinda. Okay. Dang. All right, that's a lot.
Okay.
Star Trek's a lot.
Yeah, you're. I wish I was in your shoes, starting this grand journey. This.
Yeah.
Fantastic voyage.
Yeah, you're so lucky. You're so lucky to view it through my eyes now.
Yeah, I am.
A second bite at the apple.
Yeah, Cribbles. Yeah, it's been great.
I'm gonna say every alien race on the show slightly wrong.
Yeah, that's fine. It was good to hear that your favorite part about the aliens in the bad newer movies was that they were racist. Mm-hmm. That was cool. That was good to. Yeah.
No, the whole Vulcans vibe. I like that they're that Spock's like super angry all the time and like weirdly jealous. And yet supposed to have no emotions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, J.J. Abrams really doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yeah,
it's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah, they gave him like too many opportunities to be like, oh, well, they are like they control their emotions, but a lot's gonna happen to Spock. Like he's gonna get jealous of his girlfriend. His mom is gonna die. He gets bullied in school. The leaders of his planet are really racist, and then we're just gonna blow up Vulcan. Just so you get all his emotion out of the way. I don't know.
Yeah, it's dumb and bad. They're bad.
I mean, should we watch those ones parallel to the older movies because it's the same characters doing like different versions of it?
No, I'm not doing that.
Okay.
We'll get to them after the like Voyager and Enterprise, and if at all. But I'm anticipating being dead mid.
Yeah.
Deep Space Nine. So if I make it that far, I mean, the Next Generation has like what? There's like 6 or 7 seasons. So.
Yeah, and it's back when TV had real seasons.
Yeah, like 23, 24 episodes per season.
Yeah.
And then there's movies for those. So.
Oh yeah.
Tom Hardy, right? He's in them. I remain convinced that Star Trek is good. It's got lows, but as a whole, I think it's very, very good. But not New Trek.
I believe it.
New Trek. They turned it. No, I know, but you're wrong to enjoy it because they're just.
I was saying
they're just action movies. Yeah. That's all they are.
I would say I've enjoyed some of the Next Generation, and I enjoyed some of the movies very well. And then the Abrams stuff, I thought the first J.J. Abrams movie, Star Trek, was pretty good, and then the rest of them are dog shit.
Yeah, like they're fine for what they are. The first one's fine for what it is. The Wrath of Khan one was stupid and bad, and also we already had that movie. We don't need to rehash it. And wasn't there one where the guy just hated the Federation because they didn't like pick him up soon enough?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Pathetic.
Yeah.
Pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
Like, yeah, Idris Elba they were humans, and that it was like
they crashed on some planet or whatever, and then he was like, they didn't come give me a ride soon enough.
Yeah, it's yeah. And then there's that big city / way station that's not really a planet in that movie.
Yeah,
it's like an orbital thing.
Yeah,
is that in the originals?
No.
There
are like big. There's like docking bays. That are like big service stations for the starships that like the starship flies into. Like these things are huge. Those are like flying islands pretty much.
Okay.
But they're not like laid out in like glass grids. It's not like the dome will crack or whatever, and you can't fly a starship through their sewers. So.
Okay. Yeah. How many Beastie Boys songs did they license? In the originals?
In the originals, none, because the Beastie Boys didn't exist, which I think we can all agree was a better version of reality. One which someday we'll get back to.
We're almost there.
Clock's a ticking. Yeah, didn't one of them die, I think, already?
Yeah, one of them did die.
Yeah. Well. Well.
Yeah. It doesn't make that Futurama joke any less funny where they're at a concert and their head's in jars. But
Futurama is excellent. We could watch the Futurama episode where they go visit the Star Trek planet with the gaseous guy that's got all their heads.
Yeah. Oh, we can do that when we watch the episode where that stuff's based on, right? Where he's... Yeah. That's like episode 11 or 12 of this season, right?
That's a great question. I don't know off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's super early, but...
Yeah, but we'll get there.
Well, we'll see. All right, let's not promise big things, all right?
Time being endless. Oh, man. Should we do an episode where we travel back in time and watch Enterprise before we've done this?
That's an idea I can get behind, yes. I love that. Or the episode, or the movie. First Contact.
Yeah.
Although I guess in context, that only makes sense once we know who the Borg are. But, yeah. I love that idea.
Okay. All right. All right. This has been Heads Up with Jeff and Sean. I'm Jeff.
I'm Lieutenant Commander Sean. Of the Starship USS Enterprise.
And we started watching Star Trek. Toodles.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think you say that after I say my thing. But bye.
Oh, no.
Bye. That's my new sign off. Bye.